If you've got a bunch of stuff you're just trying to get rid of in the refrigerator and the cabinets, nothing is better than Mulligan stew. It's incredibly simple to prepare, it's absolutely delicious, and my guess is you probably have most of these ingredients already. The history of the stew is super interesting. It's actually also known as hobo stew and was founded during the Great Depression. In its simplest form, it is essentially an Irish stew consisting of meat, potatoes, carrots, and onions. But for the hobo stew, it was more of a communal pot. It's whatever you could get to bring in there and make something delicious. And the crazy thing is, they would cook it in an old coffee tin over a fire. Obviously, we're not going to do that, but I want to let you know whatever you've got is going in here. Here is what I did. Ready to go? Let's cook.
We're going to start by prepping up a few things. First, I've got a couple of onions. Simply slice off the ends, cut it in half, and then of course peel that outside layer. I'm going to small dice it. You can medium dice it or even large dice it if you just love onion flavor. We're going to set it to the side in a bowl. Now head back over to your cutting board because we're going to cut up some meat. I've got some beef stew meat here. You can use just about anything. Sirloin, New York strip, filet mignon, ribeye. Pull whatever you've got out of the freezer or just what you have on hand will be fantastic in here. I like to cut it maybe more on a medium sized dice. I like it to be bite sized. I don't want to have huge chunks of meat. If that's you, you do you, and you make sure it's huge and chunky. Set it to the side on a plate, and then of course be sure to wash off your cutting board because, well, you cut raw beef. And now I've got some chicken breasts. You can use thighs, drums, skin on, skin off, whatever you have, be sure to use it. An interesting story I heard, and the reason why I'm adding chicken in here, is I read a very old article from during the Depression, and part of the ingredients said, if anyone can steal a chicken for this recipe, all the better. And no, I'm not advocating that you steal chicken. And that's why I'm adding it in there. Double the protein. It is super good. So I am, just like the beef, going to medium dice it. Again, if you want it to be chunkier, that is totally fine. Or you can even dice it smaller. It's completely up to you. Set it to the side on a plate. Now we're going to grab that and the beef and head right over to, seriously, the biggest pot you can find in your cabinet. Hit it with some oil. I'm going to use olive here. Next, fire it up to high heat. We are going to add in the beef. And what we are really looking to do is get a brown on these. So take the time to cook it, maybe 6 to 7 minutes. Move some things around, but let it cook. We want some of that moisture to evaporate so the brown can occur on the meat. That is what's going to help it taste that much better. Now, set the meat to the side on a plate, put the pot back on the burner, add a little bit more olive oil or whatever oil you have if you need it. We're going to next hit it with the diced up chicken, let it cook before moving anything, spread it out, and then move it. We want it to be browned just like the meat. It's just going to taste that much better. That is my guarantee to you. Again, once everything is brown and cooked through, we're going to set it to the side. Go ahead and add it right to the plate with the cooked beef. No worries at all. Next, put it back on the burner. We're going to be on low to medium heat here, and I've got those onions we're going to add in there. If it needs a little bit more oil, fine. Just give it a few stirs, and we are going to let it cook for about 10 minutes.
Now you're probably asking, why are you doing all these steps? Well, back in the day, all they did was throw this in a pot and boil it. I'm going to try to pull as much flavor from each thing as possible. That's why I browned up the meat, I browned up the chicken, and we're going to brown up these onions. And it's like I say every week, once you start understanding these fundamental techniques of how to get flavor by properly browning and caramelizing, your everyday food is going to be so much better. Better than the restaurants, better than the stores. You are going to love this. Now,
make sure those onions are nice and golden brown. These look fantastic, nice and sweet. Add the cooked chicken and the cooked beef right back into the pot. I'm now going to hit it with some beef stock. If you've got chicken stock, if you've got vegetable stock, heck, if you've got water, totally fine. Use what you have. Don't worry if it's just water. A lot of the flavors from the stew are going to pull in. It's going to be absolutely delicious.
This is great timing because while we're stewing that meat and tenderizing it and making it more delicious, I've got a few fresh ingredients that I want to prep up.
I can't say it enough. Use what you have around, and if you need to use it up. I've got some leftover carrots. I'm just going to simply peel those up, and then I'm going to large slice them. Since this stew is probably going to sit on the burner for a while, the larger the cut, the less it's going to break down. Smaller cuts, short time cooking, larger cuts, longer time cooking. The same applies to celery. We're just going to slice those nice and large. And then I've got a few fresh green beans. I'm just simply going to snap off the ends, just like doing it with grandma way back in the day. If you want to try another way, what I used to do is sort of line them up with the stem end and then simply cut them off. If you want to see it again, here you go. Just line them up and then simply slice them off. And then what we're going to do is cut them down into 1 to 1.5 inch pieces so it's edible and easier to eat in the stew. We're going to set it to the side in the bowl with the carrots and celery. Now I've got some russet potatoes. If you've got Yukons, if you've got red potatoes, so be it. I am also going to large dice these. We want them to be nice and chunky for our stew.
And it is totally okay if you don't have these fresh ingredients. You can use canned, you can use frozen. In fact, I'm going to use a few canned and frozen things in this recipe in a little bit. It's all about what you have available, just like they used to do it back then. Would I love to cook fresh? Of course. But a lot of times these stews are made out of season, and you got to do what you got to do.
Add the potatoes with the rest of the vegetables, then we're heading right over to that pot. It smells amazing in here, by the way. Just simply add all of our vegetables right in. And as I said before, I'm going to add in some canned corn. If you have frozen corn, fantastic. Next, I've got some frozen lima beans. Great if you have peas you want to add to there as well. Totally cool. And of course, this recipe classically does use tomatoes. Like I said, it starts with Irish stew and expands from there. I've got some crushed tomatoes. If you've got large dice or even whole peel, just crush them in your hands and you will be good to go.
Yes, this pot is overflowing with vegetables. Fantastic. If you need to add a little bit more stock or water, whatever you've got in there, perfect. Just do it. And at this point, it's totally up to you, is when you want to add some of those dry spices. Oregano, basil, maybe a little cumin, paprika. Completely up to you. I like to keep this very simple as is and let all those fresh vegetables and canned and frozen vegetables and meat come out in the flavor of this stew. Now what we're going to do is
make sure to cook it over low to medium heat for about 15 to 20 minutes or just until the vegetables are tender. Looks fantastic. I am personally going to finish off with some fresh chopped parsley. Of course, season it very, very well with sea salt and fresh cracked black pepper. Now, if you wanted to take it one step further, you could hit it with a little Tabasco or Worcestershire sauce just to bring out some more flavors. Heck, even a little vinegar would go great in here. It looks amazing. Now let's head right back over to our countertop because it is time to plate up, and we're doing it in slow-mo. Not too much to do here, obviously, just adding the stew to a bowl. Make sure that size is right on that bowl. If you want a lot, hook it up. And if you have a little extra, just garnish with some fresh chopped parsley or even some herbs. Up to you. Check out this beauty.
I cannot say it enough. Use what you've got. Customize this to make it work for you and for your family. It freezes amazingly. I've got a ton here. I'm throwing it in the freezer. So like this video, subscribe to my channel, check out this video because it's super good. And I'll see you on there.